Hello guys, first I want to apologize to you for making this video in English. English is not my first language, and not the most perfect speaker in English. I hope you can excuse me about that. This is a video response from a conversation I had in the comments of another video on YouTube. I will refer to that conversation a little later. The conversation was about how qualia disprove evolution. The first thing first, what's qualia? You and me, we both perceive the world in a certain way. For example, we see something that is red, and you and me will agree that is red, because we learned that that color is red. One problem is, how can you be sure that your red is my red? I guess there's a good video about that problem that is addressed by Michael from this house. I will leave that link in the description of this video. My counterpart in the argument said that the fact that qualia exists disproves evolution, because evolution is, according to him, a completely naturalistic, or he said a mechanical way to bring things up, to bring life up, and to bring us up. So if you are designing something like a robot, you probably will make that robot to react to dangerous things. For example, to scream when it feels too much heat. When it's burning, he will scream. But that doesn't mean that the robot feels pain. Pain is something that is very inherent to us. It's something that is how we perceive things. It may be like red, it may be like peach. We can have a theory of color and how color, the different wavelengths can go into our eyes, and we will perceive it as different colors, but how we think about colors in our minds is another different thing. Probably it's the same with pain and with many other perceptions. And a robot, even if it acts like feeling pain, it's just a program. It's just a design thing. And probably it's not a good design to add that extra complexity of actually making the robot feel pain. As we do feel pain, so it, according to him, disproves, and he had absolutely no doubt that disproves the fact that evolution cannot explain us. My interpretation of his point of view, I could use the same logic about it, the same designed robot logic, and the fact that qualia is not a good, or thinking that qualia is not a good proof about design. Probably for him it's not a good proof about a naturalistic design. For me it's just not a good proof from design altogether. Anyhow, there's a little thing that made me wonder. Actually, it's something that I have wondered a lot from a lot of time ago. I have done some coding and some programming coding even before I began college. And even if I haven't worked with a robot myself, I have seen from classmates of mine and in ordinary circumstances, robots, how they are programmed, how they react. I'm kind of convinced that in the current level of technology, and probably in a very foreseeable future, no robot will have the kind of self-consciousness I have for myself. I can talk about myself because it's the only thing that I can know for sure. I am a being that has a past. I remember my past. I have expectation of future. When I go to sleep every night, I'm kind of expectation that the one that we wake up in the morning is me. I know I have at least that illusion that I am. This is kind of a Cartesian logic. I am. Even if I think that things exist, I don't think a rock or some inanimate object could think about itself as it is. I can think a stone is. I don't think a stone can think that the stone is. At least I know there's a difference between me and any inanimate object, unless any completely inanimate object. Now I can consider other people, even if I believe or I can imagine or make a conjecture that any other people is just something in my imagination, or they are just well-programmed robots. It doesn't make much sense to me to think about that way. It makes better sense to me to think that there are other people and that they think about themselves much as the way I think about myself. They have the same expectations about future, the same perception about their own past. I think they are. I can think about me and other people as a category of things, or a category of beings that have self-conscious, and they see, and they taste, and they smell, they touch, they perceive in a certain way the world. In a very similar way, I do. Even if they have their own expectations, they have their own past, they have, many differences, but the concept is more or less the same. They are. They think they are. So I think that you was watching this video, you are. That's me and other people. Stones are a different kind of being, and so any other inanimate being. How about other animate beings? How about animals? How about plants? How about bacteria? How about robots? The question is a little more tricky, of course, and probably a bacteria doesn't have anything that resembles self-consciousness, because there are not the organs in which those self-consciousness reside. But how about a dog? We can see from a dog behavior that they have some kind of self-consciousness, even if more limited than ours. Dolphins and big apes have a greater level of self-consciousness. According to experiments that people have done, a chimpanzee can think about itself as an entity that is different from other chimps, and can project about what other chimps can or are expected to do. Of course, chimps cannot build tools in the same precision that we do. They do not complex math. They don't do any of things that our consciousness allows us to do. But certainly, a chimp has a little more concept of self-consciousness that a dog has, and a dog has more than probably a bee or a bacteria. I know I am. I think you know you are. I don't think a stone, a rock, thinks it is. I think it's very probably that an ape thinks it is. I think less probable a bacteria think it is. Let's give another name to that self-consciousness. We can call it soul. Or we can call it spirit. I am not implying that because I use the term soul, it is something that comes from a god or that is supernatural. We probably don't understand the concept of a soul from a completely naturalistic point of view. But let's wave that soul exists. We don't understand it completely. The question is, would an android, would a robot have soul? Can we make someday a robot that complex that it will have soul? Probably not a human-like soul, probably more like a chimp-like soul or a dog-like soul, but some kind of soul, some kind of self-consciousness. A robot that will remember, that will have a past, that will identify itself from that past, much as we identify ourselves with our past, and not just a compilation of data in memory. A robot that will have some expectation of future. When I say a robot, I can mean any kind of code, a computer or a program running inside a computer. Although they have already. I think it's an interesting question. I'm not sure what neuroscientists are working right now. I think some of them are trying to discover, trying to unwrap what soul is. I think it's a very interesting thing for them to come and to explain to us. If it can be explained only by naturalistic things. But yes, I do have a very great feeling that I am much more than just a machine, than just something that can be replicated using just naturalistic, using just things that exist in nature, including anything that we can call artificial. Artificial is actually nature. Artificial is when we artifact on nature, but we only use things that already are in nature. However, even if we don't have a complete naturalistic explanation of what soul is, and of what this kind of self-consciousness is, of what my point of view means from my perspective, what your point of view means from your perspective, I don't think that disqualifies anything scientists have discovered about many other things. I don't think that this disproves evolution. I don't think that this disproves the Big Bang, that it disproves the relative theory, the gravitational theory, the quantum mechanics theory. It just means that we cannot have a complete understanding from the tools that we have discovered so yet. It probably means that there is some kind of supernatural things, that my soul comes from that supernatural things and is deposited inside this body, or that material things, when they gain complexity, they develop by themselves a self-consciousness. It's kind of an interesting question. Okay, that's my point of view. I think it's a very interesting thing to know. I don't think that any answer can be completely satisfactory. Probably that gives us some room to think about religion as something that has some sense. Problem is, which religion? So, that's my point of view. If you have another point of view, please leave it in any comment below. Thank you.
Dạ, siêu ý chứ.